Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, health officials say government has secured enough COVID-19 vaccines to cover 20% of the population. A community remembers the life of a young man gone too soon. Plus, why technology is the way of the future for law enforcement. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, there is no capacity to test for the new strain of COVID-19 in the country, according to the director of the National Reference Lab. The news came during a Ministry of Health press conference this afternoon. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
So currently, we do not have the capacity to do the test in country that is required to ascertain whether that particular strain is in country.
As the new variant of COVID-19, said to be more contagious, has now been reported in at least 8 states in America, concern grows over if or when it can arrive in the Bahamas.
The test is called genomic sequencing. And in order to carry out that test, we'll actually have to send it away to a reference lab, an international reference lab, when and if that does arise. Chief
Medical Officer Dr. Pearl McMillan came right behind, explaining that if suspected, test samples can be sent outside of the country.
We have the option of, we have the sub-regional option, the CAFA lab, who we collaborate with, that we can use, as well as we have the Pan American Health Organization, that we can use as it relates to ensuring that we do the necessary testing.
Health officials say the country is nearing the end of the second wave, which is 183 days in, 2 times as long as the first wave. Despite the low numbers, there is concern over islands like San Salvador, which had no cases going into 2021, but now has 7. Cabinet has approved the establishment of a national COVID-19 strategy plan and committee. But when asked about details of that plan, like exactly what the rollout would look like, there wasn't much detail given.
We're doing all that we can to ensure that in the first quarter of this year that we'll be able to present a viable vaccine to the Bahamian people.
Wells said vaccines will be free and voluntary and will be made available at government clinics. He said government has secured enough for 20% of the country's population in this first round. But a warning was sent out about purchasing perhaps bootlegged vaccines.
Falsification, theft, and illegal advertising of sale of COVID-19 vaccines is a crime. And we in the government will be closely monitoring our national landscape to ensure that this does not happen.
As travel protocol remains where travelers take a rapid antigen test upon day 5, it turns out 113 people have tested positive since that strategy was implemented on November 1st. Of that number, 66 were tourists and 39 Bahamians. However, not everyone has complied with the 5th-day testing. In fact, Dr. Sarita Moxie explained that over 40% or 21,000 people have not.
There's about 41% of individuals who have stayed 5 days or longer who have not done the rapid antigen test.
According to Wells, there are 1,429 active cases of COVID-19 in country. But there have been over 6,300 people who have recovered, giving the country a recovery rate of 79.2%. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Meanwhile, 2021 getting off to a rocky start for nearly 200 San Salvador residents as Club Med laid off all of its employees. According to Hotel Union President Darren Woods, the concern is that other hotels will follow suit. Berthany McDermott has that.
Club Med, the main source of employment for San Salvador, has made all 190 of its employees redundant. Of the 190 employees, some 172 are union members.
It is a concern for us, particularly now that the resort is closed and we don't know what the future for those persons up there is going to look like.
The move came amid fear the resort will not reopen until 2022. Club Med previously expressed concern over the remoteness and lack of healthcare infrastructure on that island, adding that it could endanger guests and staff should a COVID outbreak occur.
We thought it necessary to try to reach out to kind of see if we could get a meeting with the relevant authorities to see if they could bring some relief to avert the closure or the extended closure of the resort.
In a statement, area MP Philip Davis said the news, though disappointing, wasn't surprising. He said government could have anticipated this eventual furlough and moved proactively to prevent this blow to the island's economy. He again urged government to quickly address the matter. Now to the redundancy payouts, the union says there are some discrepancies. It's an issue they say they plan to take to court if necessary.
When they made the payment to the employees, supervisors in the kitchen, restaurant, housekeeping, assistant managers in food and beverage, they all paid them 2 weeks' pay instead of 4 weeks' pay. They know what the Industrial Relations Act say, that 1 month pay for supervisors and assistant managers. But like we say, we can put up a fight somewhere else. We already got our attorney onto it. And the agreement is clear. The Industrial Relations Act is clear what should happen.
Last week, the Ocean Club made 50 employees redundant. A few days later, Atlantis furloughed several food and beverage workers. The concern now, according to Woods, is that other resorts will follow suit.
There's a concern, there's reality. We just want to know whether or not that reality is going to become reality.
Woods also took issue with the emergency powers orders, which he says seems to only benefit the employer.
Because the employers are able to keep the employees home, they're also able to avoid, if the employees are requesting it, while we may not agree, because of when we know the compensation that goes along with it, if the employees wish to go, our contract provides for it, section 20.3, but they will say to the employees, well, we're under the emergency order, so there's nothing we can do.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, family and friends of a 20-year-old man who was murdered in Montel Heights held a candlelight vigil for him last night. Jared Higgs was there and has this report.
Bind us together with cords that cannot be broken.
Dozens gathered at 20-year-old Carlisle Johnson's home in Marathon Estates to remember the Kingsway graduate, whose life they say was taken away too soon. His tearful younger cousins, Rain and Sky Strawn, recalling the fun moments.
He was the best cousin in the whole white world, and I miss him. He was like the next brother to me. We used to keep us safe every time we walked around the corner, and he used to make work fun.
Johnson was shot dead in Montel Heights on Tuesday night. The news shocked his uncle, Quincy Strawn. He says the 20-year-old was a born businessman who sold candy in school and was focused on a career in marine mechanics.
Carlisle was a very ambitious young man, there's no day that comes and he won't say, well, let me go and try make this money, look for a job.
The vigil was a sad occasion, but tributes offered by loved ones were full of humor. Strawn says that's an indication of the fun-loving person Johnson was. He says his nephew had special instructions when watching his daughters.
If they don't do their homework, Carlisle, pick them up and play, you throwing them in the garbage. And my daughter would also come and tell me, say, well, Daddy, Lally, they used to call him Lally. He tried to throw us in the garbage today.
Johnson's classmates at Kingsway were out in full numbers, and so were some former teachers. His neighbor, Brendan Cartwright, says Carlisle was like a big brother to him.
He was like a goal-oriented person. He always determined to succeed in whatever he put his hands to do.
My nephew was a loving, caring, kind person that, you could ask for anything from him, and if he has it, he gives it to you. He was, like I said, a striving young man that had goals, that had ambition, that wanted to do something with his life at the age of 20.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Thanks, Jared. Well, National Security Minister Marvin Dame says there are many more technological advances on the way for the country's law enforcement agencies. Dame's making these comments as he watched the first test run of the newly acquired water drones at the Defense Force Base this morning. Jasmine Brown reports.
One of those underwater drones was given its first test run in Bahamian waters today, as officials insist it will go a long way in the fight against maritime crime. It may not look like much, but officials say this underwater drone is a key piece in local law enforcement's arsenal against crime. The drone is one of 4 purchased by the government from Swift Tactical Systems at a cost of $15,000 each. Swift Tactical Project Manager Lou Brock.
The purpose of this system is to do inspections on vessels coming into Nassau or any of the harbors that belong to the Bahamian government. By using this system, you can inspect any hull of any ship, where in the past, in order to do an inspection, you had to put a diver over the side, which can be sometimes very dangerous.
Brock added that the drone has the ability to dive nearly 650 feet below sea level.
It allows you to go look at the hull of the ship for any kind of contraband or any type of illegal items that might be trying to be smuggled into the country. It is also used for other purposes, such as doing an inspection. You believe you possibly have damage to the bottom of a ship, like an RBDF ship. It can come in and within minutes deploy, go down, look at the hull, see if there's any damage much quicker than a diver.
The National Security Minister noted that the underwater drones are just one of several of the drones that will be used as part of the national security initiatives being implemented over the next few months. Dame said the combination of short-range and medium-range drones would cover sea, land, and air, collecting real-time information that aid in the fight against crime.
We have a wide range of drones that can service almost any area, and that's what is exciting about this program.
Reporting for R News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, partly cloudy skies outside the R News studios tonight. Here's Greg Thompson in the Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Outside our studios, we have partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies. It's a bit on the breezy side. Temperatures in the mid-70s, 75 degrees, a little bit on the humid side as well. The winds out of the northwest at 12 knots. Feels like temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite view around the area. That front boundary that we spoke about last evening now pushing through the capital, moving into the central Bahamas. Lots of clouds associated with that system. That will be spreading across most of the islands later tonight and into tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, monitoring trends in COVID-19. The PLP talks plans for the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine in the country. That's coming up when our news returns.
Hey Rev customer, did you know that you can change and add multiple credit or debit cards to your online payment? Simply log into my.rev.bs, sign into your My account, click Pay Now, then enter your card details, and click Save to File. It's that simple. We are committed to providing you with excellent, reliable service no matter what. Stay connected with Rev, anywhere, anytime.
Amid warnings that a third COVID wave is imminent, a senior health official insists that it doesn't necessarily have to happen if we take the necessary steps to mitigate another surge of COVID cases. Giorgio Bain reports.
So the important point here is we've got to do all we can to try and mitigate third waves and a surge. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, even with a new, more infectious strain.
As concerns mount over a new COVID variant, Director of the National HIV, AIDS, and Infectious Diseases Program, Dr. Nikia Forbes, says it's just a matter of time before the new strain of COVID-19 reaches the Bahamas.
With global travel, infectious diseases that are highly transmissible do travel to other countries. That's exactly what happened with the COVID pandemic and other strains. And so we can't expect that this strain is going to be found in other places. And it can eventually come to the Bahamas. More than likely it will.
For a country that experienced a bed shortage during the second wave, Forbes said there are concerns as the new strain is easily transmitted.
It is rapidly spreading. It appears to be more transmissible or more infectious. And there's more of this type of COVID in the respiratory tract of people who have it compared to some other strains. So that means that it can be spread to more persons.
With health officials monitoring a potential third wave following the holiday season, Forbes is pleading with the public to continue to adhere to COVID-19 safety protocols.
Any health system is going to be under serious pressure if COVID is surging and spreading rapidly beyond the capacity of the healthcare system. There's no health system that can really be fully equipped for that if that's what's happening.
Reporting for R News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Well, the PLP COVID task force is calling on the government to produce a plan for vaccines and a date for when the first set of vaccines will be in country. Jillian Gray has that.
The PLP COVID-19 task force is calling for a timetable as to when a vaccine for COVID-19 could be in country.
We are very concerned of the fact that at this stage of the game, the government has not brought forth a definitive timeline of when we anticipate one of the vaccines coming into our country.
Health Minister Renward Wells has said that $250,000 of the $1.6 million cost for a vaccine has been paid, and the government is waiting for the World Health Organization to approve one of the 3 finished vaccines. He added the Bahamas is talking with vaccine producers directly. Dr. Melissa Evans said the government's goal of herd immunity could be significantly delayed, possibly another year.
It was said that at the end of the month of January of this year, it would be available. However, we are now, getting new information that is going to be significantly delayed, plausibly into the end of the year. And if that's the case, then our goal for herd immunity for the country becomes questionable.
The Ministry of Health has said that no one under 18 will receive a vaccine, a stance that PLP agrees with, as no vaccine has been approved for children. Healthcare workers are top of the list for the vaccine, and as a third wave is said to be imminent, Dr. Darville said the government's inoculation plan must be set in motion soon so that frontline workers can have the antibodies for the virus before the third wave gets here.
We should not wait around. I believe that we need to reach out to the Cayman and to some of the British colonies, because we have a very close diplomatic relation with them, to see if we can source some of the vaccine to start an inoculation program.
Conspiracy theories and misinformation is rampant, according to Dr. Darville, who said the government should prepare an aggressive education program to inform Bahamians of the facts, as everyone will need to buy into vaccination in order for it to be successful. He also called for the competent authority to clearly lay out a plan, as he says the constant changes aren't working.
We must find ways, innovative ways, to be more proactive rather than adjusting the protocols when we are confronted with the situation.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
When Our News comes back from the break, fitness is the mission for one woman over 40. Her story's coming up. And a little later, the latest from the world of sports with our Marcellus Hall. Stay with us.
Hey Rev customer, did you know that you can change and add multiple credit or debit cards to your online payment? Simply log into my.rev.bs, sign into your My account, click Pay Now, then enter your card details, and click Save to File. It's that simple. We are committed to providing you with excellent, reliable service no matter what. Stay connected with Rev, anywhere, anytime.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Age is nothing but a number for one woman over 40 who says one of the best things she's done is to start looking out for her health. Strength Over Fear creator and founder Nicole Henfield says it was nearly 3 years ago when she got a reality check she couldn't ignore.
As a woman, I got so enveloped in taking care of my children, going to work, taking care of my husband. I kind of let myself move to the back burner. And that was not intentional, but one morning I woke up and I was like, oh no, this is not going to work. I have to put myself as a priority.
That kick-started her fitness journey. Henfield says she began working out, lifting weights, and even participated in her first half marathon. But she found that there were many other women who were struggling to find their why.
Not because someone said, oh, you look fat today, Nicole, and then you're on the treadmill on Thursday trying to burn off that burger you just ate. You know, so it has to be something you're prepared to start for yourself. A healthy lifestyle is not easy, and it's not cheap.
Henfield says she learned that 80% of the work is done on the plate and 20% in the gym. And sometimes the biggest hurdle can be just getting started.
Take a walk around your park. Do that for a week. Get consistent, get comfortable doing that. And then maybe the next week try and run. Run 1 mile, walk the other. You know, that's steady progress. Because right now, 2020, it's about looking fabulous at 40, darling. And so the only way to do that is to work out and eat well.
That journey also inspired Henfield to fill a need for affordable, functional, and good-looking workout apparel for women.
Listen, workout apparel is very expensive, and some of the really top brands that have the high quality, it could be, you could probably spend $150 on just the bra and the trousers, and so I wanted to find something that was affordable. I'm still a mom of two, and so I still have other financial obligations, and I wanted to find something that was affordable, yet it was functional. Women have been sending us videos with them running, with them working out, and just a testimony that our workout apparel line, it works, and it works for all ages, but it works.
Follow Henfield's journey and learn more about Strength Over Fear apparel on Instagram at 40andfit242. And despite a depleted roster due to COVID-19, Coach Yolette and the Ole Miss Lady Rebels getting back to their winning ways. Here's Marcellus Hall.
All right, thanks a lot, and welcome to our Sports Friday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Reduced to just 8 active players due to COVID-19, Yolette McPhee-McEwen and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels looking to get back on the winning track after a tough loss against LSU. Standing in their way, University of Auburn. Let's take a look. Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen and the Ole Miss Lady Rebels looking to get back on the winning track after a tough loss to LSU. Lady Rebs at home taking on the Auburn Lady Tigers. Keurig Austin would lead the scoring charge for Ole Miss with 25 points. The Lady Rebels improving to 7-1 on the season with a 62-58 victory. Bahamian Valerie Nesbitt contributing 7 points and 2 assists in 18 minutes off the bench. Ole Miss with a tough test coming up on Sunday when they take on cross-state rivals, 14th-ranked Mississippi State. Coach Joe talking after last night's game.
This is going to help us tremendously. 8 players again. We played Monday, back again on Thursday. We practiced 2 days, trying to get our feel back, and we found a way to win. And that means a lot for a young team. The mistakes we made in the games versus LSU, it was a totally different mistake, totally different look in their eyes. We found a way to win. And so for that, I'm grateful.
The NFL playoffs get started tomorrow with Wild Card Weekend. 6 games on the schedule, starting with 3 on Saturday. The Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills will kick off the action at 1:05. That'll be followed by the Rams and the Seahawks at 4, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Washington in the late game at 8:15. On Sunday, the action starting at 1 with the Ravens and the Titans, followed by the Bears taking on the Saints in the 4 o'clock matchup. Cleveland Browns up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's your late evening feature starting at 8:15. And that's your check on sports for you here on this Friday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. All the details from the weekend's football activities when next we meet right here on RTV. Reporting for our sports, I'm Marcellus Hall.
Thanks, Marcellus. Well, how's the weather looking for the holiday weekend? Plus, the Bahamas Humane Society needs your help. We'll tell you why when our news returns.
Hey Rev customer, did you know that you can change and add multiple credit or debit cards to your online payment? Simply log into my.rev.bs, sign into your My account, click Pay Now, then enter your card details, and click Save to File. It's that simple. We are committed to providing you with excellent, reliable service no matter what. Stay connected with Rev, anywhere, anytime.
Welcome back to our news. Low temperatures move in for the long holiday weekend. Here's Greg Thompson back in the weather studio.
Thanks again. Our second look at weather, we take a look at our satellite view around the region. High pressure is pushing towards the southeast, advancing a cold front across the northwest Bahamas. Showers and isolated thunderstorms associated with that system pushing into our area. That frontal boundary should move into the central Bahamas overnight tonight and into the southeast Bahamas by late tomorrow. Behind that, a nice change in temperatures as cool air mass moves into our area. Your boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the northwest and north, 15 to 20 knots, so caution flag posted for you guys. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. While in the southeast Bahamas, your winds will be southeast to south, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be at 9:32 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Now a look at your extended forecast through Wednesday. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe night and a nice weekend.
Thanks, Greg. Well, the Bahamas Humane Society is home to quite a few furry friends that need your help. General Manager Percy Grant says the need for support has increased in recent months. The nonprofit, through its food bank, provides food for pet owners who aren't able to feed their pets. Since March, the Humane Society has been supplying hay for Surrey horses at a price tag of nearly $1,000 per week.
During the COVID, the industry had closed down. And so the Humane Society has been supporting since March to the tune of almost $1,000 a week with buying food to assist in feeding up those horses and keep them up. So we hopefully appealing to the general public, corporate Bahamas, and being and also any government agency to assist us in our continued efforts with the Surrey industry, because it doesn't seem as if it's going to be anything time soon where we're going to have any opening up in that particular area.
With dogs and puppies dropped off almost daily, Grant is hoping more people will adopt.
Encouraging people to come in. We have lots of dogs here at the Humane. We're encouraging people to come in to adopt. In fact, right now we're running a special on our adult dogs. They can come in once they meet criteria. We will probably waive the fee for the adoption, providing that they do meet criteria. And that is a fenced-in yard with gates. It has to be proper shelter in place for those animals in order for us to do that sort of concession.
Well, thanks for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night for our news weekend. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.